Now it says here, vulnerable Preston mum with 75p in bank account threatened with jail after 1 day of TV. Yeah, let's have a look at this. Catch the TV licence goons knocking on your door even if you ain't at home by using a video doorbell. Use the link on the screen or down below in the description thing to have a look at my top recommendations. Hi, it's me again, and yeah, I've had this bookmark. It was dated the 27th of September. I've had it bookmarked, and where I've had so many stories to talk about, it just kept hitting the back burner and back burner and back burner because I didn't really know where to go with it. But I think we'll have a look at it today, and definitely not just because I've got nothing else to talk about this week. And we can have a look at it today because it's an interesting story to talk about, and it does show, one, there might be some dishonesty somewhere in the world, and two, do not talk to the TV licence goons when they knock on your door. Look. So the Preston mother, who Lanx Live has chosen not to name to protect her identity, she got a letter accusing her of owing £209. Now the letter was seen by them, it was dated in August, threatens one or more of 7 enforcement steps which could include chopping her benefits and removing her vehicle, of which she has none. It goes on to threaten that after all the enforcement steps are taken, the court may order that she be imprisoned for non-payment. The letter is from HM Courts and Tribunals Service. So that's not your standard threatening TV licence letter. That is, she's been done for it. The court case has happened in her absence, and now this is what she's got to pay. If you don't pay it, that's when you could possibly be in prison. But how did it get this far? Because she's saying there the letter just came out of the blue is what it sounds like to me. How could that possibly just come out of the blue? So many people are scared of this situation that they might have stumbled across this or read this story and think, yeah, I'm gonna start paying my TV licence fee. But it can't just happen. You're not just going to get a letter from HM Courts and Tribunal Services telling you you've been found guilty in your absence and you know I owe this money. And if you don't, you can go to prison. It doesn't work like that. There has to have been a process. She would have received the threatening letters first, then she would have got a knock on her door, and then that's how this would have happened if she said something she shouldn't have said when one of the goons knocked on the door. But she's saying there was no goon. Let's look. She argues she has not in fact watched live TV, but when she telephoned the enforcement service to inform them of this, she claims they accused her of having watched it without a licence one day last October and told her to pay £30 instantly. Well, there's no point phoning the court. It's done. You can't fight the case. It's done. Go speak to Black Belt Barrister if you want help on that. But the court's found you guilty in your absence. It's done. There's no point phoning them to say I didn't do it. You could have gone to court to tell them you couldn't have done it. They said someone's been here and said I've been using live TV. Well, they can't have because I've not had anyone here. I don't have live TV anyway. The only thing I have on is Paw Patrol, which my little one watches on Netflix with a Fire Stick. So I don't have live TV. But they said I watched one random day in October last year and I never watched it again. I don't even have an aerial cable, and that was at my old address. She goes on and on. It's quite a long article, this one. She said, I can just pay £5 a month, take it or leave it. And fortunately, a kind-hearted friend and volunteer paid some of it for her. But it's still not clear how this situation came about. She's changed addresses. She's not mentioned getting any previous letters. She's not mentioned a TV licence goon coming. She's just saying, they said that I watch TV and now I'm in trouble. It doesn't work. There is a process that has to be followed. And if the process isn't followed, then you're not guilty of anything because there's no evidence to support what they claim you did. So something's up here, isn't it? Something's up. A TV licensing spokesperson said, prosecution is only ever a last resort, and it's subject to evidential and public interest tests, and the majority of the first-time offenders are offered the option of paying for a licence as an alternative to prosecution. More broadly, we work with groups throughout the UK which help people who fall into financial difficulty. Yeah, I've mentioned that loads of times. The BBC reach out to, well, BBC Capita, they're PR agencies because they have quite expensive PR agencies work for them. They reach out to all the debt relief charities and all the debt help charities to enforce a narrative that you've got to pay your licence fee, but we'll make it as easy as possible for you. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But hang on, let's read the rest of it. They added that TV licensing was not responsible for the HMCTS which sent the letter, and that a licensing officer had in fact visited the mum in November 21. As she had been watching Freeview, they said, and supplied a record of the interview document which they said she had signed to confirm it was accurate. So the woman didn't mention that, did she? And as we've said a million times on this channel, there is only one way you can get in trouble for watching something you shouldn't be watching if you don't have a television license. And that's when these goons turn up and you tell them. Now, I never condone it. I never have once on this channel. I never will condone it. If you don't pay the TV license fee, you can't watch or record anything as it's being broadcast or use BBC iPlayer. But if you did, there is only one way they could know, and that's if you tell them or you let them in to have a look at your telly. If when you open the door and they say, "Hi, I'm from TV licensing," you just go, "No thanks," and you shut the door. Done. That's it. Investigation over. They don't have any other powers to find out what you're watching. There's no detective hands. It's all a myth. This woman, and women are disproportionately prosecuted for this rather than men, whether they're easily intimidated or they just like talking or whatever other misogynistic stuff you want me to say. It's a fact. Women are, there's more women prosecuted for this than men. And this happened. She never mentioned it, but she got a visit. She may have forgotten about it possibly from a TV license enforcement officer. She's told them something that she should have kept her gob shut on and just closed the door. And it's gone to court. She didn't go to court. I would have, personally. She was found guilty in her absence, and now she owes the money. All of that could have been avoided if she just closed the door and said no thanks. That's it. Done. Over. They can't do anything else. And the spokesperson continued to say, TVL does everything it can to make sure that people are aware of when a licence is needed and are given every opportunity to pay. No, you're not. No, you're not. You don't do everything possible to make sure people are aware of when a licence is needed at all. Otherwise, on your letters, I've got hundreds of them down here, on your letters, the first paragraph would be, do you need a TV licence if you watch or record anything that's being broadcast and use iPlayer? You do. No, they're always, will you be in on this date, or you face prosecution if you don't buy a licence. They don't. No, go to the TV licensing website and you try and find the information. It's there, but it's not obvious, which means you're not doing everything you can. You're not. If you're doing everything you can, you'd have billboards up saying TV licence fees 159 quid a year. But it's only if you watch broadcast TV, record broadcast TV, or use iPlayer. If you don't do that, you don't need it. That would be doing everything you can. So you're not. So they're not the most honest people in the world, TV licensing. They want their money, right? But yeah, this woman's got herself in trouble and she's going pleading poverty, which, yeah, I've got some, if her situation is true, I do have some sympathy for her. But I'm using this as an example just to tell people out there that the only way this situation happened is because she spoke to the goons. You are perfectly within your right just to close the door, say, no, thank you, be polite, just close the door. They can't put their foot in the door, they can't keep banging on it, they don't have any powers, they'll just have to toddle off and go and find easier prey. And this is an example of that. So if you want to read the whole story, I always put a link to these stories in the description below. Go and have a look. It's quite a long one. It does go on a bit, but it's quite an interesting read as well. And, there was a lot more said, especially from the TV licensing spokesperson, which went on a little bit. So go and have a look and then let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because that way, hopefully I'll see you in another video again soon when ta-da.